Hi, my name is James Lewis. I work for a software consultancy called ThoughtWorks. And these days my job title is Technical Director. And I'm not entirely sure what that means, but it seems I get to spend a lot of time with our clients talking about technology strategy, organizational design, and how to make stuff go faster. My favorite metaphor when it comes to discussing and talking about software engineering and how to make software engineering better is, I guess it's the one around how you evolve software over time and relating it to the evolution of a skateboard into a car. So you don't just build a faster car. Actually, what you do is you iterate and iterate and iterate on a skateboard until you get to a bike, and then you get to a scooter until eventually you get to a car, and then eventually you get to a Lamborghini, and that's how you go faster. You don't try and design the Lamborghini. You start with the skateboard and iterate and iterate and iterate again. So in my opinion, the greatest, I think, improvement that we can make in our lives as software engineers, software developers on our teams, is to actually take a step back and understand how the whole team works and how the whole system that we're working in works. A lot of the time we feel like we're working so hard that we don't have enough time to take a step backwards and understand the bigger picture, how the work works. And so by taking a step back, by visualizing the system in which we're working, I think that's the way to huge improvements in throughput, productivity, etc. So in my opinion, and it is an opinion, I want to shout at the clouds a little bit here, I think probably the thing that we've done over the last few years with the adoption of distributed version control systems and moving towards using pull requests, I think that's been a huge step backwards. I'm still a big advocate of trunk-based development or developing on the mainline and keeping your code in an always deployable state. By doing that, it means we can always deploy the code rather than have to wait for things like merges and PRs to be reviewed and this kind of stuff, which adds lots of delay. So in my opinion, moving back to trunk-based or mainline-based development would be the best thing we can do. So there's a big question at the moment. Everyone's asking how to measure productivity, how to measure individual productivity in order to work out how to go faster. In my opinion, and I think many of my colleagues at ThoughtWorks, we shouldn't be measuring individual productivity. In fact, our chief scientist, Martin Fowler, wrote an article about this a long time ago about how you cannot measure productivity. Instead, what we should be looking to do is look to how our teams are working, how our teams are improving. So looking at things like flow metrics, lead time, cycle time, things like that. That's the way to think about productivity. How is the team getting better, and how can we help that team get even better in the future? So in my opinion, the greatest thing I think individuals can bring to a team environment in order to help the team work more effectively is probably empathy. I think empathy with your fellow developers that you're working with, empathy with the people who are testing your code, empathy with the people who are going to have to change your code in the future, but also empathy with the stakeholders around you, the security people, the compliance people, and of course the people we work with in our businesses. So yeah, for me, I think it's probably empathy is the best thing we can bring to our work environment.